Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the first year experience video about the User Experience Design Program. My name is Christina and I'm part of the recruitment team here at Laurier, and I'm joined by Dr. Abby Goodrum, who's a professor in our program, along with Tanya, who is one of our current students. So let's begin with some introductions before we jump into some questions and answers.
So my name is Tanya Kungura. I'm a third-year UX student going into my fourth year.
Hi, I'm Abby Goodrum, and I'm a professor in UX design. I'm also the program coordinator and the founder of the program.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us. I am a huge fan of this program, and I'm so excited to hear more about it and hear about your experiences. So to begin, I would like to hear what you think is the most important part of the first year experience as a user experience student at Laurier.
So I think the most important part for me, especially in my first year, was trying to find really going into it, getting to know a lot of people and making friends the first year. I think is super important. I used to just the first few classes that I had, or like we took a trip just before we all had classes together, and we just met each other either on the bus or just sitting at a table and just started a conversation. And I think that just builds a friendship like going forward through the whole year. And since there's only 30 of us, or there's in our year, we all like kind of knew each other, and that really helped create that bond first year. And I think also like creating a good relationship with your professors. All of our professors are super and very approachable, very nice and great people. So having that solid like trust and building that relationship, I think was really important.
I remember that bus trip, but I'm trying to remember, did we go to Capital One or did we go to Overlap that year?
We went to Capital One and then Bridgeable.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that both in Toronto, right? Yeah,
Right.
I remember now. That's
Yeah.
I missed that we didn't get to do that last year because of the pandemic, but I'm really hoping we get to start that up again because it sets the tone, right, for the fact that we work with clients, that it's a professional degree, and that you're all going to be working together, so you might as well get along on the bus. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorite parts actually.
So I feel like that trip sounds like it was fun. So could you tell us a little bit about what you actually do on that field trip?
Is that to me or to Tanya?
Whoever wants to answer.
Well, I can tell you how it got set up, and then Tanya can tell you what it was like being the student. So we work with clients in all of our courses, well, most of our courses, and those clients might be industry partners, or they might be government partners, or they might be nonprofit or community partners. And as a result, people, who are thinking that in 4 years they want to hire these students, they kind of want to get to know the students right away, and they want the students to get to know them and see what they do right away. And so they offer us opportunities to bring our students all in, our first year students all in on a bus, and spend the afternoon with their UX designers, seeing how they do things. So that's how it got set up.
Yeah, I think they had lunch prepared. There was like especially at Capital One, and we all got put in like certain groups. And honestly, I met like some of my best friends just sitting at that like table group, because we're like, hey, like, where are you from? Or like even just starting off small talk and then just leading to more friendships. And I think that we went to Capital One first, and then Bridgeable after, which is like another like UX agency. So just learning about different things through those those institutions was I think really beneficial going into first year.
Yeah, and they usually like have the students do like a design sprint, like a really fast design sprint. So I know that Capital One always does that. I think Bridgeable did too, right? They gave you like a little problem.
Yeah, we did a journey map. You guys will probably learn more about that in first year, but that's something that we did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a great networking experience and opportunity too. Like even not just meeting people in your program and building those friendships, but also meeting people who are currently working in the field that you're going to be entering in just a few short years, you know?
Yeah.
So after that awesome field trip, what are some of the courses and the workload like in first year? I know like the transition to university can be a bit intimidating for students. So what did you think about all of that?
So we actually had, I think, about 3 courses. I believe there was design thinking, there was a UX strategy, and a course called Digital Technology Lab, which if you don't have a Mac already or use Apple products, they like try to teach you everything about it so that you're comfortable using that going forwards, because that's one of the technologies that we do use. And although, it was a little more work than high school for sure, I think the fact that UX or user experience was something that was really interesting and new and fresh, and the way that the professors were talking about it and seemed really like passionate about everything, I think it made for a better experience, just the whole year in general. And other than those 3 specific UX courses, we have like other courses. I think there's 3 or 4 electives that you can take. And so, I mean, that opened up a whole other opportunities for me. I think I took news writing and reporting, which is like it's not UX really related at all, but like I was just so, at the time, I mean, I've always been very, like, I've always looked towards like activism and trying to like build my understanding and stuff. So I think that was something that drew me in, and that course was really beneficial, I think, for me as well, just to frame everything. And so, yeah, you have a leeway to take some other courses and also some basic UX courses.
Yeah. I think too, it's nice that like our students kind of track together through the program. So I know in other kinds of programs, it's all like a, take what you want and, whenever you want, as long as you get everything checked off. But our students tend to go through together as a cohort, so they get to know each other better. And that's really nice too when they're out looking for jobs and they can tip each other off, and yeah, and they end up, moving out of residence together and things and being lifelong friends. So that's what you want, right?
I think something too that's worth mentioning, if anybody has not been to visit the campus and see the building where all of these classes take place, like the user experience classes, it is so cool. And that whole environment is so conducive to working together and collaborating. And I mean, you probably live in there, Tanya, so I mean, I really
prior to the pandemic, that's literally where I stayed.
Yeah, it's honestly such a dynamic building. So I know there's so many opportunities that exist within the program. So I'm wondering if there's any specifically that you're really excited for that you have upcoming or that you've already had. And maybe even Abby, for when you answer, to kind of share some extra opportunities that you might not know about yet.
Well, I mean, first of all, Tanya's about to start co-op.
Yes, I am.
Are you excited? When does it start, May?
Yes, May 2021 to May 2022. So it's a 12-year co-op, and I'm very excited about it. So that's one thing that's coming up for me. And so I'm doing a whole year in that, and then I come back for 4th year. So in 4th year, actually, we have a capstone project that we get to do with a company. I believe, I'm not exactly sure on all the details. I think Abby would be a better person to talk about that, but that is something that I will be looking forward to in 4th year as well. And just working with
you've worked with a bunch of clients already though, right?
Yeah.
And did you have a portfolio when you applied for co-op?
Yeah, I did actually, yeah. And I think I started that in 2nd year, which we get to start like building our work portfolios a lot earlier, I believe, than other programs. And I think that really helps because it just frames, like, it just makes you more prepared for what's going to happen in the future. And just, we have so many projects and we have so many things that we do in the program. So putting it all down, like on a website or on a just into your laptop or whatever is, I think, very, very important.
And where are you doing your co-op?
I'm doing it at a startup UX marketing agency in Toronto. So yeah, I don't know if you want to know the name or not.
You can tell us the name if you feel comfortable. You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, it's called Craftwork. So it's yeah. Yeah, it's a little long. It's like KRFTWRK. That's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
When I just found out, I didn't know this because the student didn't tell me, but one of the students who's doing co-op this year, he got offered a full-time permanent position before he graduates.
Oh, wow.
Like, he actually has to come back and finish Capstone, but they've already given him an offer and he's accepted.
Oh, wow. So is he going to come back, do you think, Abby?
He's going to come back and it's going to be like, I got a job.
See, that's what happens next.
Yeah, I might need to rethink this whole Capstone idea.
So could you tell us a little bit more about the Capstone, Abby?
Yeah, so not all students choose to go into co-op or get into co-op because it is really competitive. So it's about it's about 12 to 15 students every year are admitted. So those who don't go into co-op come directly into their 4th year Capstone. It's a full year course working with clients, and it demonstrates, the full range of what you've been taught, and it helps you as well to really develop and solidify your portfolio so that you're really well positioned when you go on the market. For students who've been in co-op and then who come into Capstone, we're going to offer a few more opportunities for some other kinds of ways of demonstrating what they do. We also want to be responsive to students who by their 4th year have decided that what they really want to do is go on for graduate education in something, whatever. So we want to make it possible for Capstone to serve as an opportunity for them to produce a written, thoroughly researched, well-written, crafted, research paper that you could then put forward for admission into a graduate program. And then we also have had a couple of students this semester, and I suspect we'll have more, who along the line somewhere in their first 3 years, they developed an idea for a company or for a product or a service that they really wanted to offer on their own. So we want to make sure that we bring in the entrepreneurial opportunity into Capstone as well, so that if students don't want to work with a client on their Capstone project, they could just as easily work on their own company and launching their own company.
That is so cool. The caliber of students that come out of our program, like when I hear about what people are doing, it really blows my mind. And I'm like, it's just so amazing. Now this is probably going to be the hardest question that I ask today, and I think you know it's coming. What is your favorite first year memory?
I think there's actually a lot of favorite first year memories. Basically, because we had a sort of smaller group of students, we all built really good connections with each other, and a lot of us would, actually a bunch of us would stay in, we had this like amazing lab like Christina was talking about on campus, and we had access to it 24/7, so we could, if we had like, crunch time, we had to do some projects, or we didn't want to study at home, we would just go to the lab. And I remember staying there until like really late at night and just doing work with my friends, and then also sometimes getting distracted and talking to each other, getting to know each other, just because it's first year and you want to know who everybody is and everything. So I think that, and then there was a projector, so sometimes we play karaoke, like it was a place, it was like a safe space for a lot of us, and so that was something that I was really a favorite memory. And then there was another one actually, not super related to UX, but on the way to the lab, there's actually the Indigenous Student Center, and they, offer lots of things to students, lots of activities and events that you can participate in. And one of them was like, I don't remember if they did it every week, but they did like a tea session or something like that, where you could go in and then they had some tea ready and you could just pop in and pop out and talk to some of the elders and some of the people there. And so we had, they had honey lavender tea, and it was just the best like tea that I've ever had. It was so good. Like I just want to go back and have some. And so that was a really nice memory too.
I love that memory. I have some fond memories from participating in events and with that group of students and the Indigenous Student Center as well. It's just such a great place to stop in and feel welcome, and yeah, it's great.
They grow their own lavender in the sacred garden behind the Indigenous house, and I think you can't get that tea anywhere else because they grow their own lavender.
Yeah, and we have lavender in our backyard, but like I don't think like you can't get it the same.
Not the same.
And so
I do have one more question.
Yes.
So you mentioned the labs, and this was part of what just got me so excited the first time I actually got to tour the building and learn about the program.
The nice thing about our makerspace is the students can go in there 24/7. They have keyed access. They can use the 3D printer whenever they need it, or the soldering irons or whatever, because there's not so much like heavy machinery.
Yeah. Okay, that was something that I was curious about too, because I remember seeing the 3D printers, and like these are things that I had never been exposed to before. So it was very cool.
I miss the Maker Lab. I can't sew anything. I didn't realize how much I used to like nip in there and do a little sewing.
Yeah, we still have like our project, because we have a course called Maker Lab, and so we do all these, like we make things, and we still have a project like left in the Maker Lab for like, and it's been over like a year, and we just have a joke among us, like, it's trapped in there, we'll rescue it later.
It's like sitting on the printer, right? On the 3D printer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to come in on Monday mornings, and I swear that the studio smelled like pizza, and all the chairs would be arranged facing the screen. Now I know that it was karaoke.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was like I said, a safe space, so we could just like do these certain things where like we didn't have access to before. And obviously, respectfully, we never like did anything to like harm anything. But yeah, I think that was really fun, and I miss it. I really miss it.
Well, you guys are the only students on campus who have that kind of access to your spaces.
Yeah.
And hopefully soon we'll all be able to be back on campus and enjoying it together.
Yeah.
So I do want to thank you again so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know it's so busy this time of year, and it means so much to both myself and our recruitment team, as well as all of the students who are considering this program, to hear your insights and hear a little bit more about the program. So again, I cannot thank you enough, and I wish you luck at your co-op. That's very exciting. Good luck with all of it, and hopefully to you who tuned in to watch, we'll see you on campus soon. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.